is Brother Jackie Green, who is here with us. Everyone has Brother Green, if you would come to the pulpit now. Amen. 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 We support those that support us. So I'm going to ask that you give Brother Green, as he comes now for a few minutes, just to talk about you, talk to you, talk about himself and what he hopes to do for the city of Louisville. Amen. You all receive him as he comes now.
Thank you. It's a deep pleasure to be with you, to worship with you this morning. I am Jackie Green, independent mayoral candidate. Pastor Williams, thank you so much. I am an independent. I'm running to unite Democrats and Republicans. But I want to share a short story with you. In January, 13 mayoral candidates were asked to participate in a forum hosted by the development community. We were asked if we supported development around that new 1,000-plus acre East End Floyd's Fork Park. All the mayoral candidates but one answered in the affirmative. When it came my turn to respond, I said, before answering your question about development around that new park, let's talk about access. The child that lives 7 blocks west of that 5th and Main office will never see Floyd's Fork Park. Tarc does not go that far. Buy that land, protect that land. But before developing the park itself, make sure all of our citizens have access to that park. And I said, now let me answer your question about development around the park. I alone told the development community that I will not support East End development of farms into office complexes, parking lots, strip malls, fancy subdivisions, while our existing neighborhoods are in desperate need of private investment, public infrastructure, economic development incentives, and metro services. That's not what they wanted to hear. Fast forward to June. Now the Home Builders Association has a mayoral debate. My team of volunteers asked for weeks to get an invitation to that debate. They were repeatedly told, no, we're not going to invite anyone but the Democrat and the Republican. So the day before the event, I called the head of Home Builders Association. I said, Chuck, for the integrity of your event, you have to open this up. No, Jackie, we're not going to. I said, fine, Chuck, I'll see you there in the morning. When I arrived, I was met on the front door by a police officer, LMPD. Your presence, you're not permitted on the premises, is what I was saying. The organizers don't want you here. So let's go find some organizers. So we had another discussion. I said, okay, you can stay. You must listen. You may not talk, you may not participate. So I stood in the back of the hall, and I listened to 2 candidates talk about open and inclusive government, while they participated knowingly and willingly in closed and exclusive exercises for the benefit of those they serve. That experience of being in the back of the hall was not Rosa Parks' back of the bus. My being greeted by the officer at the door, LMPD, was not, by any stretch of the imagination, equivalent to being greeted at the end of a bridge by water cannons, dogs, and police batons. But nevertheless, there was a discrimination there, not against me. They're not hurting me. But there was a discrimination there, subtle and antiseptic, but deeply destructive of our existing communities and the people who live in them. An effort to enrich one community at the expense of other communities. They did not welcome that voice. They tried to silence that voice. It's time to challenge that kind of power and to speak to that power. Let's challenge that power with your vote. Thank you.